Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is Holistic Dark Souls episode 5. My name is Christopher, but you can call me Toph. Alright, at the end of last episode, we heard some hammering coming from somewhere below, so let's go investigate.
Well, you must be a new arrival. I'm Andre of Astora. If you require smithing, then speak to me.
This is our first blacksmith. So, in the Souls games, there's always blacksmiths that you can, if we look at the menu here, he can upgrade all of our weapons, all of our armor, and they usually sell a bunch of weapons and armor too. Special ember required for blacksmiths to ascend weapons. So we don't have access to that yet. If we look in these menus, you can see everything we have can be upgraded. And in the top right, you can see what it requires. So it shows us how many souls we have, how many souls it requires to do the upgrade, and what the material is. And we can see that it's titanite shards. That's some of the upgrade materials we've been picking up along the way. So if you press X, we can go into this and see exactly what changes. So upgrading it to +1 will give us 8 extra points of damage, and it also increases the scaling slightly. So we can see the parameter bonus. So you get bonuses for whatever stats you have. So the muscle is strength C, the open hand is dexterity. So it doesn't look like they change because they're still at C, but it will slightly increase the scaling, which is awesome. And that's just across the board. You can upgrade everything and you can see exactly how it will improve. And it's not just weapons, you can upgrade shields too, and you'll see what it changes. So obviously it slightly increases the damage if you would actually equip it in the right hand and punch someone with it. But the big thing with upgrading shields is it increases the stability. So the stability of player defense. The higher this value, the less stamina consumed when taking attacks. I think we talked about that in a couple episodes ago, that, yeah. The material a shield is made out of usually affects the stability. So a metal shield is always going to have higher stability than a wooden one. With a few exceptions. There's some big shields later on that are made of wood, but since they're great shields, they have a crazy high stability. So that's just a different class of shield. You can also reinforce armor. And across the board, it'll just increase the stats for it. This is something that most people that will play through the game, they won't really enforce armor. It's not necessary. You can, like the first time I played this game, I didn't reinforce armor at all. I just spent all my upgrades on reinforcing my weapons. However, if you find some armor that you like, it's definitely worth it to reinforce it, because it's just across the board defense. And if you do get a set of armor that works for you and you're going to be wearing it most of the game, if you don't ever reinforce it, then enemies are going to hit harder, and other than you upgrading your health, your armor will be less effective. So as you play, it's recommended you want to be upgrading your weapons and you want to be upgrading your armor once you find a set that you're going to stick around with, of course. So blacksmiths all have the ability to repair your stuff. Let's see what he has to sell. So this is awesome. Andre, this guy, sells an infinite amount of titanite shards, which is awesome because that's what we need to get our weapons up to +10, and it's +5, sorry. And it's awesome that he actually just sells an infinite supply. So if we grind, and for those that don't know, grinding is a term in RPGs where rather than advancing, like progressing through the levels or progressing through the story, you just kind of hang out in a spot and you'll kill enemies over and over and over again. Farming, grinding, the terms are interchangeable. You'll farm enemies just to get more souls so you can either level up more, or in our case, I will probably, between this episode and the next episode, I'm probably going to do some farming. That way I can get plenty of upgrade materials so that we can try out different weapons throughout this playthrough. Okay, so he's got some interesting stuff. He sells plenty of arrows and bolts. Arrows are for bows, bolts are for crossbows. And he sells plenty of weapons, too. Some unique stuff like the war pick. Hammer with a large beak-shaped pommel. Originally a pickaxe, redesigned for battle. This simple but deadly weapon hits heavily with thrust damage, such that it easily cracks metal armor. The big thing that we want to look at is this, Crest of Artorias. This crest opens a door in the Darkroot Garden, sealed by ancient magic. The door leads to the grave of Sir Artorias the Abyss Walker. Many adventurers have left for the grave, but none have returned, for they make easy prey for local bandits. With such dangers, the crest can do more harm than good in the hands of the uninitiated. Tons of lore that just gets dropped in an item description. So we're learning about new people. We're learning about Sir Artorias the Abyss Walker, whatever that means. A place called Darkroot Garden. And that there's a bunch of bandits in it too. So we'll have to be on the lookout if we ever find our way into some place called Darkroot Garden. We might want to swing back and get this. Weaponsmith box. Tool used to etch titanite into weapons for reinforcement. Rest at a bonfire to make weapon reinforcement possible. So Andre has the ability to upgrade weapons and armor to reinforce them. Buying these boxes allows us to do that by ourselves, which is a valuable investment because we don't know if we're ever gonna... We might not be by him for a while. And he teaches us the gesture, hurrah. And let's see what he has to say.
Most weapons and armor are mighty sturdy indeed, but every hunk of metal has its breaking point. If you notice durability running low, it's time to repair. You can ask a blacksmith like myself, or do it on your own with a grindstone. The nice thing about weapons, they never betray you, so pay them a little respect, eh?
So that's a heavy line. Nice thing about weapons is they never betray you. Definitely makes you wonder what the history behind that statement is.
There are two types of weapon forging. There's reinforcement and there's ascension. Reinforcement is simple. It strengthens the weapon and nothing more. A simple task for any blacksmith. Hell, you could even do it yourself with a smith box. But ascension's a finer art. It alters a weapon's properties. Ascension is the territory of we blacksmiths. A smith box just won't do the trick. Start out with reinforcement. When that loses its charm, you can consider ascension. As you've noticed, this land is flush with the mad and wicked. You won't make it through the night without employing my services. You can forge armor just like you do weapons. Forging armor is even easier than forging weapons. Whether you forge weapons or armor first, well, that's up to you. But nobody wants to see you go hollow. So whatever you do, you'd better do it well.
Okay, so very interesting.
Don't get yourself killed. Neither of us want to see you go hollow.
So what he says about, we can upgrade weapons by ourselves, but when you want to ascend the weapons, that's something that only he can do. And that's what that beginning was.
Well, hello again. You seem to be doing all right. Need anything forged?
This one, modify equipment. Special ember required for blacksmiths to ascend weapons. He's correct. That's something only he can do.
Seeing you, men. Be careful out there.
Bye, Andre. Okay. So we're gonna go have a sit down at this bonfire. So now we can see we've got new things here. We've got reinforced weapon and reinforced armor. And we have the materials we need to reinforce some of this stuff. 80 to 88. Honestly, the longsword's actually a good weapon, so I'm gonna reinforce one of these. Get reinforced again? Ooh, let's do that. I think we're gonna run with that for today. Yeah, look at that. So the damage difference is awesome. We go from doing 93 per swing, and you can see that over here on the right. Oh, I can't tab over it. On the right column, right weapon, slot 1. 93 per swing with the hand axe. Oh, I touched on that earlier. Let me break that down. So, you see physical damage is 80, and then you see plus 13, and you might be wondering, what is that? What is the plus? So, parameter bonus, the degree by which attack is boosted by player strength, dexterity, intelligence, and faith. It could be all of these, or it could be only one. So, as you can see, the scaling, C scaling in strength, D scaling in dex, no scaling with intelligence, no scaling with faith. So my stats, a 16 in strength and a 10 in dexterity. So the game does the math for whatever my stats are and creates a number that says, oh, because your stats in this category, the parameter bonus means you get a certain percentage of what that boost would be, and the final number they added together is plus 13. So because my strength is 16, if something had better scaling with strength, I'd get an even bigger number from that. But if something had better scaling in dex, because my dex is only 10, wouldn't really do too much. Okay, like if you look at something like... See, look, you can even see this. So the scaling for the Claymore is CC. The C scaling for strength is slightly worse, but it does have it bumps up a whole letter grade for dex, which increases my plus. It goes from plus 13 to plus 16. Not a lot, but it can make a difference when, in the end game, when we're dealing with weapons that have A or even the revered S scaling, you could get like over 100 or even over 200 bonus damage just from a weapon, just from scaling, if it's your primary stat. Ooh, the hand axe is heavier, so we won't be able to fast roll with it. So let me see if I can take something off. There you go. Okay, I took off my gloves. And now I've got a whole new moveset. So I've got nice vertical slashes. I think so that sweep is really valuable for clearing groups, and I think this is, if I'm correct, if memory serves me right, the most important thing. Yes, the stab. The stab is so useful for taking out when you're in those tiny corridors. We talked about it last episode. When you're dealing with tiny corridors and like narrow walkways with just like, claustrophobic halls, when you swing your weapon, that can happen. It can get stuck on a wall. So having a stab can really help navigating those otherwise perilous encounters. So typically in Souls games, if you walk up to someone and they like start looking at you and or start walking towards you, usually it's a bad guy. If you ever come across someone who's just chilling, like Solaire or Andre that was just hammering away, or this person, if they're just chillaxing, 9 times out of 10, they're a good person. So you definitely want to put your weapons away. Don't want to upset them.
Oh, forgive me. I was absorbed in thought. I am Siegmeyer of Katarina. Quite honestly, I've run flat up against a wall, or a gate, I should say. The thing just won't budge, no matter how long I wait. And oh, have I waited. So here I sit, in quite a pickle, weighing my options, so to speak. Still closed. Still closed.
Siegmeyer of Katarina.
Still closed. Still closed.
Anytime I'm waiting for a store to open, that's my go-to line. Still closed. Still closed. If we look in here, I'm peeking my camera through. You can see that this is a giant castle. And we even see, you can see an item in there. And what looks like some enemies. Some giant beast holding like a shield. So we'll definitely be coming back. But he doesn't know how to get in there. And at the moment, neither do we. So this is going to be continued. You can hear the sound of the bonfire fade in. It's a comforting sound. And especially the hammering of Andre. It's nice. It can be relaxing. Okay. So if we look on the top left, we can see that I have 2 soft humanity. So in inventory, it's referred to as hard humanity because it's something that you can carry, consume whenever you want, and if you die, you won't lose it. So I have 2 soft humanity, so that gives us the ability to do some cool stuff. So what we're going to do, so kindling cannot kindle while hollowed. So let's reverse hollowing. Offer humanity and reverse hollowing. Now pay attention to my beef jerky skin. Humanity restored. And if you look at the top left, the humanity counter is now white and glowing, just like the humanity. So now we can kindle. At the beginning, when we first landed in Lordran, it said, in Lordran, kindle bonfires. Remember? So offer humanity and kindle flame. So watch, pay close attention to the flame in the bonfire, to how brightly it's burning and how high the flames go. It got brighter. Burns with more, it's more lively. And if we look at our Estus, we now have 10 instead of 5. So the way that works is that now anytime we rest at this bonfire, instead of only refilling us up to 5, it will fill us up to 10. So the bonfire in Firelink Shrine was at 10. The one that we found in the Berg, in that little room with the ladder we kicked down, that was only at 5. So this one's at 10 now. And the reason I reinforce this one is because this is an important bonfire. We come here a lot, so it's a good one to have reinforced. Okay, so we reinforced a weapon. We met Andre and we talked to Siegmeyer. So let's go finish exploring the rest of Undead Parish. I know we walked by that church. Let's go see what else is going on in there. And I think, like I pointed out last time, that definitely looks like a bell tower. But we might be close. If this is the church, the undead church that crestfallen warrior was talking about, we might already be at one of our first objectives. Okay, so we're going to want to rush down this archer guy before... There we go. And as you can see, we're definitely doing a lot more damage. Only 2 hits. I think it was taking at least 4. There we go. Beautiful. And the moveset's good. It's got more range than the hand axe does, especially with those stabs. Like I said, if someone starts running at you, especially swinging, they're probably not friendly. So I can do some careful maneuvering, but I also might want to try hitting them with one of these. Oh, he blocked it. Okay, that does a ton of damage. Oh! Oh. I have never seen that double swing before. That was really cool. I'm going to drop something. Titanite shard. So that's the baseline standard upgrade for our weapon, so it's good that he dropped that. A lot of enemies here. So we see men and beasts holding up offerings. Statues of flying birds. The statue of a woman holding a baby. Beneath that dragon on the bridge, we also saw a statue of a woman holding a baby and a sword. And if we look up there, we can see that this is a similar statue. Woman holding a baby and a sword. And here we have a corpse. Now, if we look closely, in the bottom right, you can see straps of cloth wrapped around her chest, functioning as a bra or cover. So this is a female corpse. Firekeeper soul. Boosts power of Estus Flask. Soul of a long-lost firekeeper. Each firekeeper is a corporeal manifestation of her bonfire and a draw for the humanity which is offered to her. Her soul is gnawed by infinite humanity and can boost the power of precious Estus Flasks. It can be used to gain humanity and restore HP at the cost of losing the firekeeper's soul to reinforce the Estus Flasks. So that woman in that cage below Firelink Shrine, she has to be the firekeeper. And when we talked to her, she had the option to reinforce Estus Flasks. So it looks like this is the item that we can use to make our Estus Flasks stronger. So we'll have to bring that to her. But first, this should look familiar. We're back in Firelink Shrine. The elevator in the church connects us all the way back to where we started in Lordran, to Firelink Shrine. Way up there is the church. We went up through the aqueducts, through the Undead Burg. That, right there, right above my head, that's the bridge that we crossed with the dragon on it. We fought through the whole parish to get to the church, and that elevator brought us right back to where we started. That is what people talk about when they talk about the interconnected level and world design. That's what people are talking about. Reinforce Estus Flask. Use Firekeeper Soul to reinforce Estus Flask. So if we look at our Estus Flask in the bottom left, it just says Estus Flask and we have 10 charges. So when we reinforce it, it's now at +1. And what that'll do is that every time we use the Estus Flask, it'll heal more. So it doesn't give us more charges. Kindling bonfires is what does that. But now when we use it, it'll heal more, which is valuable because the more you progress through the game, enemies hit harder and harder. Okay, so now what took us 5 whole episodes, a place that it took us 5 whole episodes to get to. Now we have a shortcut that only takes maybe 40 seconds to do. And just like that, we're back. Now we did rest at a bonfire, but you'll notice that big knight with the shield didn't come back. So there are certain enemies in the game that won't respawn. They're like special enemies, or like, I guess you could consider them kind of mini bosses or just unique characters. These guys have a really cool armor set. Okay, so we saw this guy up here carrying a trident. Had a robe on, a really cool hat, and he looks like he's casting some sort of spell. Oh! And it looks like he made all these guys stronger. But thankfully, my stab is perfect for dealing with these guys. Ooh, I did not want him to come this way. Ooh, wrong button. Oh. This is gonna hurt. Oh, okay. I got him just in time. I did not mean to do that. Run. Yeah, all the ragdoll corpses can get a little out of hand sometimes. Oh my gosh, I'm one-hitting these guys with the sword. That's awesome. So imagine me having to deal with all this nonsense without having to stab like I just did. There aren't a lot of items hidden in barrels, but it's always helpful to check. If you don't know, there's no harm in smashing open stuff. There's a ladder. That might take us up to the bell tower. Ooh. So remember, with all the enemies... Ooh! That was quick. You never want to get too far, because you don't want to give them the opportunity to heal, because they can heal just like we can. Whoa, 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 dude. Oh! Oh! Oh my gosh. You know what? You can heal, I can heal. That's fair. I got greedy. No! Okay. I gotta be a little more careful. I'm a little rusty. Alright, let's see. See, and then reinforcing your bonfires is so important, because if I didn't have 10, right now I'd only have 3 left, and that would be just a bit too scary. So I remember the first time I saw this, it freaked me out. But it's actually nothing to be scared of, because the person's already dead. Humanity. What a terrible fate that this person was probably bound, gagged, put in a barrel at the end of a hallway, and just slowly starved to death and went insane. So this doesn't look like something we can break open, but this does.
Still human, are you? Then I am in luck. Could you help me? As you can see, I am stuck without recourse. Please, I have duties to fulfill, and I will reward you handsomely. Well, I am certain you stand to benefit. Please, well...
Not to judge a knight by his sinister tone, but he doesn't sound like a good guy. However, we want to see where this goes. So let's see where it goes.
Thank you. Yes, sincerely. I am Knight Lautrec of Karim. I truly appreciate this. And I guarantee a reward. Only later. Yes, very sorry. Your reward will have to wait. I've just been freed. Allow me some time.
Could you not sound like I'm gonna regret freeing you, please? Well, we'll see where that goes. It's one of the interesting. There's a lot of interesting character interactions you'll have in this game, and he's not the last. All right. I think we might be getting close to this bell tower, so let's keep climbing. This is what Solaire talked about when he said, "Spot my summon sign by its brilliant aura, and we can engage in jolly cooperation." So, anytime you see something like this, summon signs before a fog, it's pretty obvious that that's about to be a boss. So, as always, you gotta be respectful. Oh. So now we get to fight with Solaire. Oh boy. Look at Solaire. Look at that. His lightning spears did like a quarter of the boss's health. And now there's another one. So what I want to do is I want to cut this guy's tail off. Oh no. No, 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 no. Ah, no. Well, if you wanted proof that I am not scripting these or cheating, there you go. This is holistic, raw, unedited Dark Souls, episode 5. Let's try that again. So we're not human, which means we're gonna have to do it by ourselves. But honestly, using Solaire's cheating anyway, because he's so overpowered this early in the game. Man, I have not fallen off that roof in like probably 10 years since I first played this game. You gotta stay humble. You gotta stay humble. We got greedy, that's what it was. We were trying to get that tail. And I got parried. Oh man, y'all, I'm rusty today. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay. I'll have to redeem myself. I'm gonna start that by running by all these guys. Now they will follow me up the stairs. The ladder, sorry. But as long as I go through the boss fog, they won't be able to follow me through this. Alright, let's redeem ourselves. So no cutscene this time, we go straight into it. There we go. Okay, I got the axe. Now I'm gonna play safe. Just kidding. A third swing? You gotta be kidding me. Okay, so getting him below half health is what triggers the second one to spawn. He's almost dead. He is dead. Okay, good. So this one breathes fire way more often than the first guy. So as you can see, I'm trying to two-hand my sword anytime I have an opportunity to do damage because it does more damage. So I get greedy now. There we go. Whew, got him. And you can see those guys who are still aggroed. Still trying to... Ooh, 10,000 souls. So just like the fighting the Asylum Demon, you get a lot of spare change when you defeat a boss. Okay. I think they're still on their way. Are they still aggroed? Oh my gosh. I'll deal with them later. It's the first time I beat these guys. It was such a huge moment for me, but I was terrified that I went and checked each of these to make sure that they weren't going to come to life. Okay, so that's the first main boss defeated. The Asylum Demon and the Taurus Demon, they were kind of just like roadblocks, whereas this definitely feels like the first big boss. There seems to be some giant wall up there, and then way up there is a huge tower. And if we look over here, that's that old church that Andre, the blacksmith's in, and we went through that walkway, and we found that castle where Siegmeyer's sitting outside, unable to get in. Found the bell. That's a triumphant moment. And it gives us an amazing view of this world. And look, all the way down there, that's the bridge we crossed. Okay. I think that's a good place for us to stop. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. If you have anything that you want me to go over in more detail in the upcoming episodes or stuff we've collected so far, please leave a comment. Please like. It really helps out the channel and will hopefully help more people find this type of content that, you know, that want to see it. I'm glad there's an audience for it. I'm making the videos that I like to watch, so I'm glad there are other people that enjoy this type of stuff too. And in case any of you didn't know, I'm a huge Epic Name Bro fan, and me doing the thing is an homage to him, so I'll include a link to his channel and his Let's Play, because he's just my biggest inspiration. So in honor of E and B, let's do the thing.